Welcome to the Tribe Talk Show, live from Atlanta. On this show, you get real conversations, inspiring stories, entertainment, information that empowers, real talk. A safe space to learn and grow. Real sisterhood. Let's talk. Let's grow. Let's thrive together. Join the tribe. And now, here are your hosts, Tendai and Grace.
Hello, Tribe. Welcome to another episode of the Tribe Talk Show. Thank you for joining us always. Yes, yes. And please, if you haven't subscribed, this is your opportunity to do it. We want you guys to continue to follow us on all social media pages and subscribe to our YouTube channel, please. And so we're excited to be back this week with a brand new episode. Hello, Miss Tendai.
How are you? I thought you had forgotten me. I was just like, hello, I'm here.
Look at us twinning.
Yeah, we're twinning
I
today.
see people aren't already complaining enough about us looking alike.
Since you guys have decided we are twins,
Yeah,
we may as
we
well
decided.
dress
Why
alike.
not?
Yeah,
Yes.
but thank you so much, guys, for joining us. We have a very fun, entertaining show for you. We're going to be joined by my homegirl. It's not very often that we get Zimbabweans in the show, so I get so excited when I get Zimbabwean. So we have Mavis Chiwandire coming to discuss a book with us. But before we do that, happy Thanksgiving, guys.
Yes.
I hope you guys had a nice holiday. I hope you guys gathered with friends. And I had a nice time because
Me too.
Madame here hosted the best Thanksgiving party, and we had such an amazing time. What inspired that theme?
You know, I live for good parties. I love to host some good parties. So, this year I just figured that it would be nice to shimmer in gratitude.
Glamour.
Yes, yes. So
Hollywood glamour.
I
It was
know.
giving Hollywood glamour.
You know what? It's the season, so why not dress it up a little bit? So it was really fun.
No, we had such a good time, guys. If you ever want to know how to host a party, please reach out to this lady. There was everything. There was a red carpet. There was even a valet service.
I know, right? You know what? If you're
Little
gonna
Miss
host,
Extra.
yeah, we just need to make it comfortable. You want your guests to feel comfortable.
No, we
Don't
felt like
want
we
the
were
stress
at,
of
we felt like we were at the Oscars.
exactly that
Red carpet
Uh-huh.
and food. And I really love that you gave everybody an opportunity to go through and discuss what was good about this year, because I think in this society we spend so much time focusing on what is bad that we never really take pause and say what was good.
And that's why Thanksgiving is my favorite holiday, to be honest with you. I look forward to this every year because, like you said, it's our opportunity to gather together and give gratitude. We have to be grateful. There's so much going on in the world. But when I tell you that once you still wake up and you have your breath and you have people around you, you have some good food, there's a whole lot to be grateful for.
Exactly.
So I look forward to hear everyone express what they are grateful for.
What they are grateful for.
Yeah, that's my favorite part of the whole
Yeah. And I think for me, just learning gratitude has really helped me with navigating life because I think it makes you a little bit more anxious, and it helps you realize where you've come from. Because I saw a quote on social media, I think it was either Instagram or Facebook, where someone was saying, we need to be grateful because you are living in one of your prayer points.
Yes.
Some stuff that you used to pray for, you used to pray for having a job, you used to pray for papers, you used to pray for children. But now that you have all those things, you never really take time to say,
be grateful.
Let me thank God for, for where I've come and where I'm going.
And when you hear people, we have a couple who shared their testimony. In 1 year, both husband and wife were diagnosed with cancer. Does it get worse than that?
Doesn't.
Like they were still nurturing the diagnosis of the husband when the wife was diagnosed with cancer as well. So to hear their testimonies, for them to still be standing there, being grateful to be here, to be alive, What are we complaining about?
No, we're not.
And when you hear this testimony, it encourages you. Then when you verbalize your own gratitude, it kind of reminds you that, okay, God, maybe I've been ungrateful. But you know what? The fact that I'm even here to be able to verbalize this is a blessing.
Yeah, so many things go on. We really take it for granted. Just think about our commute to downtown, the amount of accident that you pass through. I drive like an hour now that they're forcing us to go back into the office. I drive an hour from my home, an hour and a half. And it's not even about me. Sometimes I get anxious when I think about Shania driving in that crazy traffic, because she also has to drive like an hour to come to Georgia State. And I'm just like, when I'm there, I'm so, the trucks, the craziness.
Yeah,
and
there's
a lot of people don't make it home on a daily basis. And we just here complaining about what was said, what was not said, and what was not done. So I love that.
And as much as we're grateful for our lives, we're grateful for our families, we are most especially grateful for our tribe.
Yes.
I am grateful for this platform.
Yes.
This opportunity to connect with other people, to impart lives, to share all this with our tribe. We're grateful for each and every one of you, and also to all our special guests. For everyone that have graced our seat throughout this journey, we are grateful for each and every one of you. We're grateful for sharing your time with us. We're grateful for sharing your wisdom with us. And to all our subscribers, to all our supporters, our followers on social media. Without you, we won't be doing this. So we are grateful for every one of you. And we hope that you continue to have gratitude in your lives.
And I wanted to touch on the guests. I like that most of the guests that have come to the show, we have turned out, some of them are now our friends.
Yes.
Like Bubemi.
They keep coming back.
Yeah, like Bubemi is now like a friend. Shout out to Bubemi. We went to her book launch a couple of weeks ago, and it was such an amazing friend. And through her, she's connected us with so many other people that have been guests on the show too. So that just speaks to the importance of building your own tribe and just creating your own set of friends, because we're so far away from home. We're so far away from home. And to be able to share these moments with you guys, it's really a blessing. A year ago, the Tribe Talk Show was just an idea. It didn't exist.
Look at us now.
Yeah, look at us now. So we're really, really grateful to everyone, like Grace said. And we're just going to take a break. And coming up, we're going to have Mavis to come and discuss with us her book. We'll be right back. Hi guys, we are back, and like we said, we have a very special guest here, my homegirl, Mavis, and she's here to promote her book called The Mirror and the Map. Thank you so much for joining us. How are you?
Very good, thank you. How are you?
I'm doing great.
Thank you for having me.
Do you mind telling our viewers a little bit about you and the process of writing this amazing book?
Sure. So my name is Mavis Chiwandire. I have been in the United States for a better part of a quarter century. I've been in corporate America probably that entire time as well. And the time that I've been in corporate America, one of the things that I noticed is that because I'm in leadership development, I probably should lead with that. So helping leaders kind of become themselves and learn how to be better people managers showed me that the fundamentals that are required to do that are just about relationship. So I just had, one time I was sitting in church and just had the impression on my heart to take those same principles that I was learning into the church. So that's where the idea came from, to put together some sort of training that allowed people to have a better understanding of who they were. So the book came out of the initial training that I would do with the youth and different churches. And then from that, the request was made to put something together that could be a reference. And so the book was born.
How important do you think self-awareness is to us? And I'm talking about us as Africans, because really we are never really taught these things, are we?
No, we're not. Unfortunately, self-awareness is a critical component of knowing not only who you are and how you react and respond to the world, but it also tells you how you show up. So when you have self-awareness, you can mitigate some of the things that may create issue or conflict in relationships that are not necessary. And so not having that is when you have people making statements like, I tell the truth like it is, or I think there's a famous Zimbabwean statement, cash talk breaks no friendships, but it breaks a lot of hearts.
Yeah.
And is that really what you want to do? Or I was born this way. Maybe you were, but it doesn't mean that you cannot use wisdom and knowledge and understanding with how you react and interact with people. Yeah, so self-awareness is really, really important.
So you talked about mindset transformation. Like how do you, what does that even mean? Like, I remember mentioned that you can't walk in a new direction in an old mindset. What does that mean?
Yeah, so mindset transformation, or the shift in how you think, it's really just about, first of all, understanding how you think currently. Right? Because we have two types of mindsets, and this is research that was done for many years. And anyone can research that. But there's a growth mindset and there's a fixed mindset, right? So most people interact with those two types of mindsets, which is in the easiest way to say it is a negative mindset or a positive mindset, right? People sometimes say glass half full or glass half empty. This is all perspectives that are about your mindset. So the first thing for you to be able to even begin to shift that is to understand, how do I think? When I am presented with a situation, whether it's a math problem or it's the opportunity to do something different or learn something different or whatever the case might be, do I immediately think I can't do it? Or am I the kind of person that says, I don't know how, but I would like to learn? That's the difference between a fixed and a growth mindset. But you have to start by knowing how you are now.
How you are.
Right? And the interesting thing about that as well is we don't have the same mindset in every situation. So knowing it in say math, that you don't like math and you always say things that confirm the fact that you don't like math, that you have a fixed mindset when it comes to that, doesn't mean when it comes to music you have the same mindset.
That's true.
So you have to kind of know in every situation, what's the mindset that's leading me, so you can begin to shift and transform and go with the right mindset each time.
Yeah, I wanted to go back to self-awareness for a second. How do you think us as immigrants, because I think the me in Zimbabwe, the me when I lived in the UK, and the me now is totally different. How do you think as immigrants we can navigate our self-awareness, our self-knowledge, even our mindset to a certain point when we are living in cultures that are kind of like foreign to us?
So what's interesting is it always goes back to mindset. Because most people, when you have this conversation and you talk to the fact that when you come into an environment, assess what the environment is requiring of you, make a determination of how much of that you want to give, and then give accordingly. You can't always come into an environment and dictate what you're going to be in that environment and what you're going to get out of that environment. Sometimes there has to be some give and take.
Yeah.
So I think for us as foreigners, in order not to lose ourselves, because sometimes we assimilate so much, by the end of it all, nobody can recognize exactly where you're from or who you are. So to make sure that the self-awareness does not only take our own identity away, but continues to allow us to have the leverage to take what we want out of a place, we should always go into a place with a mindset of, this is who I am, what do they expect from me, and am I willing to give that? And then when you do that, it becomes a give and take.
It becomes easier.
When you walk out of that place, you walk out fully yourself, but you've given what you needed to get what you wanted out of it. So it's self-awareness is the basis of it, but it just guides.
It guides you. Yeah. And how has been your journey, your personal journey in navigating, because these are totally two different cultures, right?
Yep. For me, I think it came to head in the corporate world, right? And I think being in the United States, one of the things that you realize is it doesn't matter if you're born and raised here. If you're black, you're black, right? That's the kind of the bottom line. So not only did I have the blackness kind of working against me, I had the fact that I was a female kind of working against me, and then throw in the accent, forget about it, right? So these are three things that you're already having to kind of navigate and figure out how people are going to respond and react from you. So initially, I didn't know. This was a journey that I took as well. So as I was taking leaders through, as I was learning some of these principles to teach them, I also began to learn. So it was a learning process where a lot of the times it was in retrospect that I realized that I learned something.
That is really good. And we're going to be back continuing this conversation. We're just going to take a short break.
Welcome back, Tribe. We still have our beautiful Miss Mavis here talking about our new book, and this is so inspiring. Well, you're going to get a chance to know where to get this book at the end of the show. But continue the conversation. So there's a particular phrase that struck me, speaking their language. Now, how do we apply this in our relationships, marriages, or even friendship?
Yeah, that's a really good question. So in the chapter, in that particular chapter in the book is speaking to understanding the way that you show up in the world when it comes to how you communicate. We all have different communication styles, which are influenced by our personalities. So the first thing that you need to discover is what type of personality do you have, and how does that personality show up in the world. So in the book, I leverage the DISC personality as an example because it's an easier one. It's a very simple and yet helpful way to understand some of these things, and it's an easy way to get that. So with the DISC personality assessment, it's broken down into 4 different types of personalities. Within those personalities, it's broken down even further, right? You get into the nuances of it. But what ultimately is saying, there are 4 distinct personalities that one person can fall in. You're either D, which is a dominant style of personality, which means you're action-oriented, you're driven, you like to get things done. And then you have the I, which is the influence type of personality. This personality is the charisma, right? The Obamas of this world, if I might, right? They can speak well. They bring people together. They connect people. And then you have, on the bottom end of it, you have the S personality, which is the steady personality. That's your support system. Those are your teachers and your social workers, people that they like routine and process and systems, right? And then the last bit of that is the C personality, and that's the conscientious style. And this style is the analytical, the data-driven, the fact-driven, the research-minded kind of personality. So these are just very high-level overviews, and we all fall into one distinct, because you all have a dominant personality, and then we have a little bit of this.
Why do I feel like I'm strongly in all 4?
How do you find out which one you are?
You take an assessment.
Oh, you take an assessment test, those personality tests?
Yep.
Okay.
So the DISC personality, so the one that they actually do, which gives you a really good report that kind of helps you get a better understanding of who you really are. It tells your story and all these things, your motivations, your fears, and all those. You get that through everything DISC, and there's a charge for it. But there's a free one that gives you a general idea.
Okay.
So if you take that alongside what we go through in the book, it helps you kind of begin to uncover or discover kind of who you are and how you communicate. Because your personality, again, influences your communication.
Yeah.
So if you don't know that you're a D personality and you're very driven and you come off as dominant, when you're dealing with, say, an S personality who's more passive, it comes off as aggressive. It comes off as difficult and abrasive. And now this relationship doesn't work, but it can work if we understand each other and how we are different in the way that we show up in the world.
Wow.
That is really good. But I wanted to dive into the book more.
Yeah.
What can people expect from the book? And we have it here, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love the cover too.
Yeah, it
so
is
beautiful.
Thank you. So what I did is I broke it down into 7 fundamentals. So when you read the book, it's going to walk you through 7 distinct aspects of who you are when you're kind of walking through the journey of discovering yourself. So everything starts with identity, right? So that's the first thing that you walk into when it comes, because it's a faith-based book. It's very biblically based. So it pulls from who we are in Christ versus what the world may generally say that you are.
Yeah.
And why it's really, as much as Christians know who they are in Christ, we also still struggle with identity, right? So it's not just about knowing, right? But it's about knowing and then having the relationship that kind of helps to substantiate that. So we go from identity and we talk about mindset, right? What we kind of talked about earlier on. What kind of mindset do you have? Do you know the soundtrack that's playing in the back of your mind? And most people don't realize they have that. There's a voice that when you make a decision, oh, I want to go to school, there's a voice that might be saying, you go to school. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
And before you know it, you've changed your mind, but you don't know why.
Why?
It's the soundtrack.
The
So
subconscious.
you've got to know what your subconscious is telling you. And sometimes it comes from our environment, how we were raised, the people around us, and the things that we believe about ourselves, right? From there, we go from mindset and we go into emotional intelligence, right? And that's another key aspect of relationships, right? Because it builds on each other. Once you know who you are and you understand how you think, then you need to know how you deal with emotions.
I think knowing how you think
Yeah.
is the most important thing, because most people, you know what I think? I think the school curriculum needs to change and have emotional intelligence over there.
Yes.
Because as you age, you realize that what the hell is going on with people?
Yeah.
Right?
It's a lack of emotional, just really, and when you really just summarize it, because emotional intelligence is about really 4 different things, right? It's about self-awareness, knowing who I am, how I think, what I'm feeling, and why I'm feeling that, right? And then it's about self-managing. Now that I know that certain things make me feel a particular way, the self-management is avoiding those things or kind of getting ahead of it because I know it's a trigger or whatever the case might be. And then the other part is, now that you know or have self-awareness about yourself, it's now easier to have self-awareness about others.
Yeah.
From there, you begin to manage relationships, right? So emotional intelligence still comes back to relationships.
Back to everything.
How you deal with yourself is how you're going to deal with others. It's what's going to determine the kind of relationships that you have.
This is so powerful. Now, share with our viewers where they can get a copy of this and any projects you have coming up that we all need to be taking advantage of.
Especially the leadership one.
Yes.
Can you talk us through the leadership program too?
Yeah, sure. So the Leadership Development Program is under my company called Optimized Leadership Solutions. So really it's just dedicated in helping people begin to develop some of these strengths. As you go through this, it's almost like a gap analysis, right?
Yeah.
Where you realize I'm here, I need to be here. So Optimized Leadership Solutions comes in between and helps you go from here to here. So we have different lessons that talk about communication, that talk about bias, that talk about emotional intelligence, how to develop those things. So it's a subscription base, so you can go at whatever pace that you want to. Just go on the website and you'll be able to log in and find out more information.
And do you mind just sharing how people can reach you, your website, and if anyone is interested in your leadership? And also where to get, is this on Amazon?
Yeah, so I have a website that is specific to the book because I also want to partner with churches and youth groups to do book clubs.
Okay.
So I separated it so it can stand alone. But it's called, the name of the book, themirrorandthemap.com is where you're going to find spelled out, no like and signs, but the mirror and the map, .com. And then you'll find the book and more information about those types of partnerships. And then the website for the leadership is optimized with a Z, leadershipsolutions.com. So you can get in touch with me on either one.
And we're going to have all this information under the description on our YouTube page. So you guys will get a chance to be able to click and go directly to the website.
Yeah. But we just want to say, Mavis, thank you so much for joining us.
Yes.
It's so great. I feel so happy when I see my fellow Zimbabweans. Where in Zimbabwe are you from? Harare. Okay, where in Harare?
Girl, Marimba Park.
Okay.
That's where I grew up.
All right. Yeah, I'm more Cranbourne.
Oh yeah, I have friends
Yeah, so we
that
are
from there.
almost, yeah.
Close. I went to Roosevelt High School.
I
so-
went to Roosevelt. Look at it.
Oh
my God, Roosevelt.
Yes.
That makes me so happy.
Oh,
Yeah.
That's
Oh,
so wonderful.
we really, really enjoyed having you, and we hope you come back to
Absolutely.
maybe come back and talk about leadership.
Yeah.
That would be a really interesting topic, because I know a lot of us immigrants are now starting to migrate from normal jobs to trying to get into leadership. So that would be good. But we wish you all the success with your book.
Thank you
And
so much.
Thank you for joining us. To all our tribe, now y'all go grab a copy of this, because how often do you get the question, who are you?
Who are you?
Yes, a lot of us, all we can will be like, oh, I'm a mom, I'm a wife. But really, who are you? It's a time for us to dive into the journey of self-discovery. So do yourself a favor, grab a copy and read. We all need to find our identity. And on that note, this is all we have time for this week. Don't forget to tune in again, same time next week, and join us for another brand new episode. Until then, y'all stay fabulous and happy holidays.
Thank you.